Images that flash in your mind can actually be perception and not imagination. I want to talk to you about clairvoyance and seeing beyond sight, right? Seeing from your soul sense ability. I hope you enjoy our time together.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been with me for a while, welcome back. If you're a subscriber, I adore you. If you're a member or supporting the content in any ways by finding things that you could buy in the merchandise on the shop, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Thank you. This helps me fund these episodes. I have a team of helpers that bring all this content to you. I have helpers in the spirit realm, definitely, but I have boots on the ground, people in offices and spaces that help get all of this to you. And I'm really grateful. And by supporting this in ways that you can and you do, implementing what I teach you in your life, sharing the content, subscribing, getting notifications, becoming a member, buying the merchandise, all of these things help spread the word and help me, help you, help make the world a better place. I believe if we live through our soul senses, the world will be a much better place. We're body and soul. 5 physical senses, 11 soul senses. Huge difference. I think it's part of our human evolutionary journey. Part of our natural evolution is this spiritual undertaking and this spiritual recognition working with our soul sensibilities. I believe it's our soul senses that are synonymous with higher conscious living. You can't have one without the other. You just can't. Not in my opinion. So welcome. I'm excited that we're here today. I'm going through the 11 soul senses, 11 weeks, 11 soul senses. This series, this theme has been designed so that you could practice the particular soul sense that I'm going to talk to you about for an entire week so that you could get proficient at it. I think we're all capable, right? We're all capable. And sometimes we just need to take the time to actively engage our soul senses to learn more about ourselves and our world and our abilities. I don't think these are gifts. I think they're innate, natural skills that we all have. But I do think you need to apply and work with them to build them, much like you do a muscle. Doesn't matter how much I want my abs flat. I need to do the work to make that happen. Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. So I'm going to read to you the definition that you can find on my website. If you go to my website, constancemessmer.com, and hit the About button and then click on either 11 soul senses or the glossary, you can find definitions to the soul senses. The glossary has kind of a dictionary style definition, and that's what I'm reading now. So clairvoyance is the power or faculty of seeing objects or energy not visible to the physical senses, and the ability to perceive matters beyond the range of physical perception, to see objects and energy that exist outside of physical reality. So this is things like energy waves, people, visions of people, places, things, objects, all of this, whether it's you see energy or see physical something that you can't see through, like something that's in the third dimension. I love clairvoyance. When I was little, I used to have a lot of clairvoyant experiences, both in seeing angels and loved ones that had crossed around me. But I also had to actively engage in it to start seeing auric fields, right? If you're interested in that, I offer a past episode on clairvoyant exercises. And in that, it talks about ways that you could practice seeing your auric field or the auric field of others, right? I think methods like that to strength train will enhance your ability to recognize moments of intuition or intuitive impressions that you're capable of seeing, right? I think that we can, of course, do 2 ways. We can have these random, spontaneous flashes of intuitive clairvoyance that we just we're like, whoa, what did I just see? Did you see that? Anyone seeing that? Like, what's that? Flash a light, or you see that person or that dog or whatever, right? Or you can actively engage for comprehension in regards to parts of your life or understanding the bigger picture or certain scenarios. You can actively engage your clairvoyant sight. And those, random flashes of spontaneous insight, go work in it. I'm more of the apt to go work in it. I just am. So I'm glad that you're here with me and listening. Listen, while I deliver this content, I talk slow because I'm listening to spirit at the same time. And I want to make sure that I get the words right, right? I always wonder if you all think, like, what is going on with her? Like, she doesn't talk fast. And I hear you, but it's because I'm having a few conversations at once, right? I think we all do this often. And so that's actually one way that you can engage your clairvoyant sight when you're around people, is when you're listening to them, look around them, see who might else be standing around them in spirit, or see if you can see their aura, you know, all of these things. Be in two places at once, be physical and be your soul self. I would love that. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. There's always a greater perspective when you see through the eyes of your soul, or see through the soul's perception, right? And so I've used clairvoyant sight, and you could most certainly use it in the professional world when you have kind of this engaging in troubleshooting or defining and reconsidering strategies, right? So I think strategic insight happens when we're noodling a problem or an issue or an approach, and we're just like churning it over and over in our mind. And sometimes the vision, the story will play out before us, or the pieces will all of the sudden kind of become this, we see the spreadsheet, or we just see the strategy board or the wish board or the dream board in our mind's eye. And this is something right now, Spirit's stopping me and saying, this is a great way to, a great segue to how do we experience clairvoyant vision. I think some people think that it's going to be this full-blown movie, right? But it can be this subtle impression on the mind's eye. It can be a behind the scenes, kind of like this vague impression, and not really an image at all, but you see it. Like when I used to teach in the physical, I would say, sometimes it's in the mind's eye. So it's an internal experience, and it's just the impression of the vision or the image of what it's trying to tell you. But there's other times then it can happen with your eyes open and being superimposed on the physical reality. I used to teach students, like, when you were to look out a window and you see your reflection on the window, but you can still see beyond to the outside world on the window. Those same things are happening at the same time. Sometimes this is what clairvoyant sight looks like. What does it look like to you, right? What are these soulful impressions that you've had clairvoyantly throughout your life or in your experience? Sometimes when we're around people, whether starting life or their life is coming to a close, right? Hospice, whatnot, or just gathering around as they're ready to pass. Sometimes we might see light around them, or a glow of light around them, their auric field. Certainly around babies, we might see, angels or loved ones that have passed that come around the infant child, and the child definitely might see, the light or the spark of the person on the other side that's come to see them. You might see these children, babies, giggling right out of the blue, and it's not gas. It's like they're seeing something, they're watching, their eyes are tracking something. And so I invite you in those moments, if you have a small child in your life, goosebumps, Spirit's giving me a hug. Look to see what the baby's looking at. Look to see. Children also, it's not an overactive imagination, although there is imagination occurring often with kids, right? But these experiences happen in the imaginal realm. And so you have to weigh in. What are they seeing and why? When visionary experiences occur, there's always a why, like what's happening and why is it happening? Don't forget, intuition comes from the word Intueri, which means to consider, right? And so in these moments of a clairvoyant vision, it's important to stop and recognize, like, consider, why is this happening? What's happening here? So in the professional world, I want you to become aware of moments of when you're trying to figure out a problem, a solution to a problem, and how that message might come, or that awareness or answer or insight might come clairvoyantly, whether in a dream, a lot of times clairvoyance can happen in dreams. It seems like subconscious material playing out, but maybe it's your soul actually speaking to you, or a guide or an angel or a loved one that's speaking to you to give you this visionary message. Speaking of which, pay attention to those dreams of loved ones that have passed. They are probably visitations. And so in those moments, if they're engaging and moving, and it's not a dream about the person, but you're interacting with the person, or they're talking to you in the dream directly to you, it's probably a visitation, which is fabulous, right? Another way clairvoyant experiences can happen. So clairvoyance is through the eyes of the soul. It can be a message or a insight, but it could just basically be perception to the other plane of existence, right? So I often, when trying to brainstorm next steps, I will be open to images that come to mind in my professional world. Like, what do I literally see myself doing next? What are the steps and how do they appear visually? I'll often see them before I hear them or know them. So I'll often see the steps clairvoyantly before I hear them clairaudiently, or before I know them claircognizance, right? I might see myself doing them. That's always kind of fun. Like, I really encourage you to be mindful of those moments, right? Of your mind. Where are your thoughts? Where's your consciousness? Be mindful of your consciousness. And is it layered ego consciousness, or have you dipped up into the higher realms and you're in higher conscious space? The part of you that's connected to all that is and has the wisdom and the answers. I think that's fabulous. So on a personal level, a lot of times I will use my clairvoyance site to kind of check in on my kids, right? Astral project, kind of like, no, mostly I don't necessarily astral project. I should do an episode on that. I think I've promised you that I will in the future after we get through a bunch of things. Maybe whatever, I'll do it. I promise. But I'll often bring my kids to mind, right? The image of my kids to mind, to maybe go, where are they? And I might actually see where they are clairvoyantly. That would be a fun exercise. Or what are they doing? What are they up to? Obviously, there's shields up if they're doing something that's personal, right? And they want to protect. I won't see that, but I'll definitely kind of give a peek on their soul. How are they doing, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically? I'll look at their soul to see what's happening. How's their mental state? Do they need anything? They're in their 20s. I was like having fun, but needed things. And so it's always good to reach out and connect, right? And you can do this on, with friends or with your mates or whatever, to just do that visual check, bring them to mind, right? Bring them to mind. See what I did there? An image of them, and see what comes back to you. See what comes back to you. Family members, friends, whatever. I would also, sometimes you'll be able to see things that others don't. And I don't want you to discredit or discount your experience just because they can't see it. You're obviously in that moment having an intuitive experience where you're clairvoyantly seeing something. But I would encourage you to kind of understand and comprehend, what's the perception about, what's the message? Is there a message, or is it just a knowing, right? I think I've told you I've played games with friends about, what's on your desk, or what's in your fridge. And then, we see what we see, just as a way to exercise clairvoyance. It's kind of a fun and silly thing. But mostly on a personal level, I'll see what I'm supposed to do next visually, mostly, right? And it just makes my day go smoother, flows easier. Love it, love it, love it. Your 11 Soul Senses, a journal for self-discovery, is something I created just for you. It is complete with definitions, writing prompts, and blank journaling pages to help you reconnect with your true essence and your soul sense abilities. To get your copy, visit my shop or go to constancemessmer.com. And thanks for tuning in. Well, I wonder how you use it personally. Like, when do you engage your clairvoyance on a personal level? And how do you use it to enhance and help your life? For me, when I engage it and say, what should I do next? And I see it as a visionary experience, it helps in the flow. Like I'm recording 2 episodes today, right? And I recorded the first one, and then I thought, well, I should immediately record the second one. And I saw myself uploading the first one into our electronics so that it would take the time to upload while I was filming this one. And I was like, wow, I didn't see that before, but I think did I ask my higher self? It was like that wisdom, right? I don't think I asked, what should I do next? It was like in my mind, I was saying, I'm going to record the second one. I should record the second one. And in airdropped this visionary clairvoyant moment of, no, here's this insight, upload the first one. And while it's uploading the rest of the way, record the second one instead of filming it all and uploading everything at the end of the day. And I was like, wow, that was cool. So that came as an image, right? And so I use clairvoyance as a way to engage my soul's perspective to make my day easier. I'm all about ease and grace. I'm all about ease and grace. I have like a lot of work to do, and I want to hit the grocery store before I head home and have the rest of the weekend, right? It's good. It's good. So as a practitioner, I would always use clairvoyance. Oh my God. Of course, right? As a medium and as a psychic, I would use it to look at chakras. When people were on my table, clients were on my table, I'd use it to kind of, see their auric field, check out those exercises. I would use it to scan people and see if I could see them in other outfits, clothes, hats from other periods of time when I was trying to, ascertain what past lives were still impacting them in this life. Let those first impressions come to you. When you're setting the intention, like all soul level work, it's all about intention, right? And when I would set the intention of like, well, what other past lives, would happen? What other past lives are still influencing them in this life or tied to them, whether good or bad, right? So positive or negative, positive or negative influence, something that they're still hanging on to and, dragging around in an inconvenient and unhealthy way, or what's a positive, like a strength they came in with, like some people that are natural artists that I'm just like, oh my God, this is, you can go to school or not go to school. You've done this in countless lifetimes type stuff, So sometimes, I don't know about you, but I like forever gone, oh, I got to go back and get my graduate degree. Got into Bennington. I think I told you that, for my graduate studies for writing. And then the program wasn't right for me, although it's very prestigious, right? But it was just like, come on, you're a writer. It's all over your chart. You've done it in countless lifetimes. You might want the credentials, but maybe you don't need them, but whatever. So it's those same awarenesses, right? Of when you're trying to look at, as a practitioner, at someone's past lives, you may be able to see strengths that they've carried in by way of items they're holding, things they're wearing. I remember one time going in to get a bank loan, and the guy didn't believe what I did for a living. This was way back. Like 25 years ago, maybe 30. And he goes, yeah, right. I don't believe that stuff. I said, okay, but can I just tell you this? There is a professor's, like what are those things called when you graduate? Those hats, graduation hat. There's this, you're still wearing this hat because you see yourself more as a teacher than a banker. And he just like jaw dropped. He was like, I do see myself more as a teacher. I use this position to teach banking and possibilities and finance. And I was like, yeah, okay, but you don't have to believe in what I do. Can I just have the loan? It's so funny. I got the loan. It's so cute, right? So sometimes I would use it as a practitioner to look at past lives or look to see who's around them. Like, what do their guides look like? And that was really beneficial because maybe their guides are specific to whatever tasks they've come to do. Of course, we have a main guide, but we could have several helper guides that come in throughout our life, right? I would look to see the loved ones. What did they look like? I would have to usually ask them to come really close because sometimes they were vague and light, but I would have to ask Angelic Realm to help them amp up their appearance so I could get some real validation of affirmation, of evidential mediumship. What did they really look like, or clothes they wore, or whatever? God, I remember. Did I tell you about the guy that reached in and pulled out his brown billfold to give money? And that was like it's all the sitter needed for proof that her dad was in the room. It was so adorable. But it was great. So remember, I've told you from the beginning, I used to do weird stuff of looking in the mirror when I was a little kid to say, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Because I knew I wasn't me. And I would look in my eyes and things would change. Like my hair would change, my color of skin would change. I would sometimes be a guy, sometimes a girl, and different ethnicities. And it was this flash of past lives. And then I was like, okay, are there any I need to unravel? That's what I do now. When I was little, I didn't know to unravel them. I was just like, wow, okay, this is cool. All right. And then it was this awareness of, yeah, you're more than what you think you are. Ooh, that's coming for you. You're more than who you think you are. You're more than what you think you are. You're far more capable. You are magnanimous. Oh my God. So those are different ways in my professional life or as a professional, how you might use clairvoyance, and in your personal life, how you might use clairvoyance, and in your life as a practitioner that does healing work or readings and stuff like that. Engage in your clairvoyance, work it specifically, allow it to come in. When you engage in it, you strength train it for, those random times that things happen and you don't want to miss those moments of perception where you're like, ooh, I think I should pay attention to this. So sometimes it can happen, again, I told you, in the mind's eye or external. And so when we get these flashes, it's important to recognize, like, oh, was I thinking that consciously, or did that just come out of nowhere and land? Was it an insight, and what does it mean? When we get these images, we have to discern, is this literal or symbolic? And that's not tricky, right? That's not tricky. You just have to ask, is this literal or symbolic? Or you'll know. My favorite example, because it's so freaking easy and I'm just so lazy right now. Remember, this is the second episode taping of the day, is when I see a horseshoe around someone, it either means good luck or it means they have horses. So I have to discern, is it literal or symbolic, right? That's all. And so same with you in your own experience with, with you see spirit give things or to you or something, or if you see things around people, or if you get your own vision, is it symbolic or literal? Like, what's going on here? And so I think that the biggest thing is when you engage your clairvoyance in the moment of having your sitting practice where you're like, okay, I'm going to work on my clairvoyance with my spirit guide. Can I work on clairvoyance? Can you show me a past life that I had? I really want you to engage your imagination. Don't forget, the imaginal realm is an organ of soul sensory awareness. So it all happens in your imagination because it's a realm of experience, right? And it's a visionary realm, especially. I mean, ask artists, right? Oh my God, they get in those spaces. And sometimes as artists and planners and writers, we have to let our imagination, creators, inventors, problem solvers, you have to let your imagination fly. Open heart, open mind, right? So you can gather up bits to then decide, all right, which one really hums and sings. You're going to use clear sensation, goosebumps, to monitor what you're getting into, realize the progression of what might be doable, what's hold off on, what should I do now? You're going to engage this, right? And step into those moments of allowing that a space of imagination to flourish so that you could have guided insight through clairvoyant moments, right? So I think the big thing is when you're in your active practice, so you're engaging your clairvoyance and you're saying, show me a past life, or show me what you look like, or how do I know you, guide, or angel, have you been with me my whole life, is in those moments, really milk the experience. Like, when you are engaged in it, I don't know that you can so much milk the experience if it happens to you. You should try it and let me know what you think. Like when I was in my big God moment, I did not engage my mind because I just wanted to be in it. And I think engaging my mind would have messed up the connection because I would have brought ego consciousness in. Same when I'm with an angel. Is that true? No, I think I do milk it. I milk it by entering into it. That's what I mean by milking it, right? I enter into it. But when you're having a clairvoyant moment in your meditation time, specific to like a loved one or a guide, and you're really wanting to know the guide, the spirit guide, really dive in. What are they wearing? What do they look like? What's their hair like? What's on their shoes? Do the same thing if you're a medium trying to deliver messages from the loved one that has crossed. Ask them to come closer, ask the angels above to help bring them more vibrantly before you so that you can give evidence to the sitter, these kind of things. And so what I want you to remember is milk the moment. Don't deny it. Denying a vision is like freaking hanging up the phone. This is not good. Don't deny it. I'd rather have you check for truth. Like, whoa, did I see that angel? Is that an angel? Oh my God, I'm getting chills. Like allow the light to come so strong, right? And then remember my quilt story when I said I saw the woman. I felt the woman in the room. I turned to where I felt the pole. I looked clairvoyantly and saw the light. And then I said, "Who are you?" Right? And she said, "Mother." And when I acknowledged that she said mother, she showed up I saw her visually as she was in this life before she passed. So this belief, this credibility of your belief will strengthen the connection and enhance it then in your day-to-day life beyond your practice of sitting in your meditative moments of connecting for communication in, however you choose. So it's important to, instead of denying, like, "Oh, I'm making this up." Don't do that. Say, "Am I making this up?" Don't say, "I am making this up." Say, "Am I making this up?" Hold it up high. Am I making this up? Did I see that right? Are you real? Angel, are you real? Listen, you're going to feel the angelic vibration of an angel. They're going to be light, love, happiness, lifting, peace, all those kind of things. You're not going to deny that. But a spirit guide, you might want to throw light at and check. Remember, I told you could say, "Are you of God? Are you of truth? Are you of the highest good?" Or you can imagine a big ball of light in your hands and throwing light at them. It is a way of checking for truth. If they are who they say they are and their goodness, truth, and light and come forward to help you as a guide, they'll get bigger. They'll stay their ground, right? And if they can't hold the frequency of the light vibration, they'll go, and you don't want to talk to them anyway. You want to only connect with beings that are, have your best interest at heart. They're going to make you feel good, right? And so when you feel good, it is good. When it doesn't feel good, then it probably doesn't feel good because it's not good. So stick with it feels good and it feels right, and use your clairvoyance to really like look closer, like look closer. Be very observant in your soul senses. This is cool. And recognize that when you're strength training in your practice of sitting in meditation, I'm just going to keep calling it that because whatever, that's what I call it. When you're strength training there on the visionary experience, then you can bring it out into your day-to-day life and be more conscious of those perceptions or those intuitive hits that come forward that are flashes in your mind or superimposed on your physical reality, and recognizing that it's not your imagination. You didn't conjure that up, stir that up. We weren't thinking about that. It happened. Now, there is this thing that I've told you in other episodes that is helpful. Like, listen, when I want to talk to my dad, but I want to see my dad, like I'll talk, "Hi, Dad." Like when I want to talk to my dad, like he's right there. Like I can hear him breathing, right? Clairaudience. "Dad, this is a clairvoyance lesson." So I would have to turn my attention to him and see him. And because his physical appearance changed so much over my life, I could use my imagination and picture him how I want to picture him or how I want to see him. Or I can ask, "How do you appear now?" And he says, "You wouldn't recognize me if I showed you how I appeared now." So I'm not going to go on it. I do think what he means, "Dad, do you mean that?" Yes. He means that still as his form, Chuck Messmer, but it's not who I would remember him as physically. So maybe he would appear as what he looked like when he was younger and I was younger. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, Dad. Can we talk about that later? But what I'm saying is I could use my imagination to kickstart it. This is why a lot of mystics would look at pictures or statues and they would come to life. My Mother Mary statue in 8th grade, she came to life. A lot of the mystics, that are listening to me now, God's saying, a lot of you mystics have statues and images come to life. That's not you making it up. That is the imaginal realm taking hold and carrying you to a clairvoyant experience, right? There's a difference between Yes, it happened in your imagination. I made this up. You didn't make it up, right? Recognize those moments and ask. Don't deny it. Just ask, did I make this up? Be okay with that. Yeah, you made it up. Okay, why did I make it up? What was that about? Because you wanted to learn the vibration of true, not true. I don't know. What's your story? But check it, right? You got the power within you. Use it. It's dialogue, it's engagement, it's interaction. It's cool. All right. Was there anything else? I don't think so. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please do. If you haven't subscribed to the social media, please do. Why? Because I want to get an agent for books and publishing gigs and movie gigs, and I need to let them know that I'm worthy of their representation. So the more followers, the merrier. I don't like that word followers. The more friends, the better. The more of us having this conversation, the better, right? Because it's a conversation that should be had. It's important. It's perfect timing. It's perfect timing. Engage your clairvoyance. Know that I believe in you. Have a great week at it, right? Set aside quiet time so you can practice it. I adore you. I adore you. I adore you. I hope you're getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps. That's Claire sensation. Yeah. Oh, listen to this. I've had people write me and say, "You appeared in my dream." Did I tell you that? I don't I don't actively do that. But if there's a part of my soul that's showing up in your dreams, there you go. But only if it's good guidance, right? Nothing weird. But I don't sit in meditation and project my energy everywhere. I just don't. That's kind of weird. I just don't. So, God, who needed to hear that? Like, what? What? I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've had dreams about teachers or impressionable people or people I've wanted to talk with, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sleeping. No, I'm kidding. My dreams are usually symbolic or they're visitations, which is always cool, right? To unravel that. Because if your clairvoyance, oh, here we go. Episode's not over till it's over. If your clairvoyance is acting as messenger of your subconscious material or your soulful material from your wise self to yourself, and if you're not getting it in your day-to-day life as visions in your mind or imaginal experiences or perceptions or pictures that come to you, I'll meet you in dream time, is what your soul says. I will get it through you somehow. I will get it to you somehow. Messages in dreams from God, angels, your wise self, your loved ones. It happens that way too. All right, pay attention to everything. That's your homework. Pay attention to everything. Jeez. All right, I love you. You can do whatever you want. You're grown up. Thanks for tuning in.